Hello, and welcome everybody back again. North Sports Dynasty here with some fantasy football talk on a Tuesday night. How are you all? That's good. He's fine. He's alive, and he's back, motherfuckers. Fudgers. Whoops. Oh, it's after 10. It's after 10.
Just barely.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to North Sports Dynasty. I am one half of your host, Andrew Faubert. That is the other. There we go. Is the other half of your host, and Alex Loosemore. And we are your fantasy football gurus here on North Sports and at Bucks Report, here to give you the weekly update of what's going on around the league. Football is finally here. College football, fantasy football, NFL football, all the footballs you can think of is finally here. We're going to give you our top 5 pick'ems, our top 5 sit-ems, and our top 5 drop-ems essentially here in about 20 minutes time. We'll probably get to that. First, obviously, we're going to talk about some values that you can find on the 2 teams that we talk about here on the show, starting with your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then we are going to talk a little bit about the Detroit Lions and what value these players will bring to you, and then we will get to some of the other groovy and juicy details. But first, Alex, hi, talk to everybody, because you haven't been here for a while. So
yeah,
what's up, dude?
It's been a while. I was a sinus infection, but it's kind of hard to do podcasts when you're all plugged up and you can't really talk. So yeah, no, doing well. Happy to be back. Ready to talk some football.
I'm happy you're back on. Never want you to leave me again. It was hard. I did you 3 days in a row, and I was like, there's one of the reasons I got a co-host is so that when my throat is starting to hurt because I've been talking so damn much, I can. Here you go.
Well, and we were supposed to do the Friday, me and Johnny, because they were doing the post game show on Thursday, so they gave us Friday. Yeah, and then all that happened, so I was like, kind of can't do that.
Can't do anything. This is bull. So, yeah, we got Alex back here. We're going about an hour tonight. Drop your comments in there. Let us know some of the sleepers that you're thinking about this season. Some of the players that you're liking, some of the players that you're not liking. This is all fantasy football on Tuesday nights. That's what we bring you, because we're trying to give you guys some updates to win your fantasy leagues. Some people, you can obviously pick up players right now and do whatever. Some leagues like ours, you have to wait a little while to pick up your players. We actually just had one thing that I had to pass in our Dynasty League. So Thursdays and Saturdays, you can pick up players instead of just Thursdays, obviously allowing it for people who have lives and kids, which I didn't realize because, I do have those things, but I made sure that it was all proper for me and not everybody else. So I'm sorry. Other than that, I lost.
Call ourselves fantasy gurus and then talk about all the L's we took.
Yeah, but mine was such bull, and you know it too. I'm gonna find the picture. Hold on, I think it's a screenshot. Yeah, so I got it right here. Props to Kyle, our boy Kyle in the Dynasty League, for beating me week 1. Everybody knows that I talked about this top tier team that I've assembled, and I'm not going to be defeated this year. I'm going to run show. And then a couple of injuries have obviously prevented me. And I'm like, I'm still going to do really, really good. And I still put up a lot of points.
Yeah.
The son of a bitch beat me by 0.1. I have the proof right here. There it is. Let me get it a little bit more. Back it up. There we go. 146.
There we go.
Yeah. There it is. Kyle beat me.
By 0.1 points.
I could not believe it. I could not believe it to the point where when Marquise Brown ran the ball for 5 yards, that was it. And I was like, you serious? What? That's what's going to do it? Is the guy that I've been hyping and then crapped on last year, and deservingly so.
Yeah.
But I'm the one that hyped him up a couple years ago, and then he didn't do nothing for me. And then all of a sudden I crap on him and he does semi-okay, but then he, still kind of crapped the bed. This year, I don't even talk about the son of a gun, and he goes off, and I'm like,
and he's the one that beats you.
I'm gonna have to just, in 5 years, we're gonna have enough fans that are gonna have the assemble a team that can piss me off, and then assemble a team that can piss Alex off. And already the two people on that team are Alvin Kamara and Marquise Brown for me.
Yeah, your team's slowly being built.
I do not like it at all. So let's start into this. Let's go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Talk about some of the value that they got this week. Big Twitter spiel about, oh no, Mike Evans is not what I thought. I'm just gonna drop him now and be done with it. Like that's a dumb decision if you did that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dumb decision if you dropped Godwin as well at any point. It's a dumb decision if you dropped Antonio Brown. Mm-hmm. Any of those wide receivers, if you dropped, is just like a bad mistake for you. Bad juju. Taking a look, talking full PPR. So that's points per reception here. Chris Godwin, at least on my sleeper app, and that's what we use, NFL fantasy app and the sleeper app, mostly for our redrafts is on NFL fantasy. Next year we'll be on sleeper. Sleeper app we use for our dynasty teams all the way through, though. Yeah. Chris Godwin, 22.5 points, 9 for 14, 105 yards, a touchdown, 1 fumble, and a tackle. So he had the second highest output, I guess you would say. Tom Brady technically did, and he came in with 29.16 on some people's. I had him at 39 on a different different league. So I guess it was just based off of points or bonus points or whatever. Yeah. But the fact that a 44-year-old man is giving you almost 30 points in fantasy, what the hell is going on?
I mean, it is Tom Brady. Let's start off with that. And man, that just watching that game on Thursday, watching him and Dak go back and forth was a lot of fun. And just watching the fantasy points all over the board just fly off the handle, it was just like, oh my God. Yeah. Antonio Brown, went for 23.70. Sorry, he was the leading receiver for fantasy points this week for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I remember, so I did actually have some people poke fun in the comment sections of a couple of places saying, hey, Andrew, when you came up on Friday or Saturday and did your updates on all the teams and you start them and sit, you had like 3 really bad sit-ems. Antonio Brown is a bad sit-em. 90% of my other picks were literally spot on. Stop cherry picking. Like, I did good. Okay. Yeah.
But I will admit, obviously, where I was wrong. Antonio Brown, I still refuse to even trade for him in any leagues. I'm not going to do it, especially in any of our dynasty leagues, because I'm still someone who would take that screenshot. Like, look at, he did it. He's trying. What should I tell him? No, should I make him pay more? And I'll just sit there and be like, I'm not fucking doing this anymore. I'm not flipping doing this no more. Not happening. One thing though, for fantasy owners with Antonio Brown, a lot of people thinking this could be a one-trick pony type thing. I am actually going against. I'm going to go early here and go against what I've said already. I actually do think Antonio Brown is going to hold more fantasy value than I actually thought, and a lot of us actually thought.
Mm-hmm.
Reason is this. What were the excuses that people use for our old quarterback and the reason why he screwed up all the time? Our wide receivers can't run routes. Mike Evans is a good possession wide receiver, and he's getting better at the route running, and Chris Godwin is a hell of a good route runner now.
Yeah.
That being said, Antonio Brown is going to be in the Hall of Fame for his ability on the field. He can run fast, which when I saw Tom Brady basically throw his arm literally into the stands.
Yeah.
I saw him winding up. I'm like, no, why? Like, I don't know. What are we doing, dude? You're going to hurt yourself. And I could not believe that because at first I thought it was Chris Godwin. I'm like, oh, okay, he's going to get underneath it. And then when the guy started running, I'm like, that doesn't run like Chris Godwin. And also at the same time too, that's not a 4 and a 1 on his jersey. Like what the hell? Like he got that speed, and I was like, oh my god, this is classic Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
We got 2 more years of this at least. So, in my opinion, if you can get him, put him in the flex position and just count that as one of your flex positions for the year. You might get games where he's under 5 points. That's totally something that's going to happen. But I'm willing to take that gamble now. I would keep Chris Godwin as a number 1 wide receiver. I still would keep Mike Evans as a number 1 wide receiver because they're still going to do the same thing that Antonio Brown will do, just 1 or 2 weeks where it's going to be bad. But I would put Antonio Brown in that flex and just call it a day. You're probably going to be better off. So.
Yeah.
The tight end position, though, if it's not Gronk, you
don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
Leave it alone.
I said leave OJ Howard alone as well. There's a reason. He's not coming in. We franchise tagged him. We're probably going to sign him to a very affordable, very minimum contract after that because when this regime is done, we'll still have a first-round tight end in-house. So now for fantasy, unless you're in Dynasty, his value isn't there because you can kind of possibly keep him on the taxi squad. I guess not anymore, but you keep him on the bench if you want to keep him there. But he's not going to hold any value to you this year. I can almost guarantee that it's going to be Gronk and Brait and maybe OJ Howard going off for a game later on. What are your thoughts?
I agree with that completely. I do like where you brought up the dynasty for him because I do think, like you said, once the band kind of breaks up a little bit here, that could be. And I mean, this is always OJ Howard talk is always prefaced with as long as he stays healthy.
Exactly.
If he's healthy, that's going to be a good weapon for if it's Kyle Trask or whoever your quarterback post Brady is.
Yeah, he's a good safety blanket. And when he came into the league, he looked fun. I mean, he really did. He put up. So I do think we are going to keep him around. As for our running backs, there's a reason I didn't want to talk about the running backs. I've said a lot. And props to the people messaging me and Alex. We got a lot of people messaging us being like, what do we do? I've had people message me and be like, okay, these running back situation, I have this and I have this. And I'm like, don't start them. And they're like, okay, but I have no other running backs. And I'm like, okay, but like I said before, unless you're willing to roll the dice with one of them, which is not going to bring you too much value, I don't think. I mean, I guess go ahead. But the only way that you're going to get, say, the proper value for this is by putting them both in your flex spot and waiting to play a bad defense. Because then both of you get 11 to 12 carries and maybe 10 to 12 points by the end of it. But there's no real immediate value to them this year for a redraft. And I know some people are going to poop on me for that one, but guys, I just said this on a post today too. I refuse to bring his name up on the show, so just leave it be. But I said it on a post today, and I'll reiterate. I understand. I am a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan. I'm a fan all the way through, but I am a realistic Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, and I know what we have. We have a mediocre to good-ish running back core, their duo, at best. Playoff Lenny is good, and Rojo is good. They're both good, but they have their bad traits to them. That's just inevitable. And if they're on their own teams, when they can get 25 carries a game, sure, they might hold some value. But right now we're playing in a win mode team. We're not playing the let's see what we have and, let the running back carry for 20 yards, 25 yards per game. So there's no value to the running backs, guys. Leave them alone. The only thing I suggest, if you have an opportunity to put this guy on your bench and keep him there to the end of the season, put Giovanni Bernard there. I have a weird suspicion, and this is just me, but I have a weird suspicion that if they cannot find a rhythm with these guys, with Rojo and with Leonard Fournette, we might start seeing Giovanni Bernard come in on second downs and still be there on the third down, And he is a pass catching back. So if you're talking PPR league, this is a top offense, and Bruce Arians is known to shut some of these guys out who don't perform. So
yeah,
it's worth a risk, I would say. And it's something that I'm looking at, but just approach it with caution. So as for the defense, Tampa Bay defense is still amazing.
Yeah.
It's still going to hold value if you can get them. In our Dynasty League, every time I still trade or send an offer for the Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense, the guy's like, hey, you're still I'm going to make you give me a player, Faubert. You're not giving me a pick. You're not doing anything. You're giving me a player. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. Every time I send an offer. And I think it's close because I know what he's a fan of too. So I've tried obviously to persuade him with some of the, and that ain't even worked either. He's a smart guy in our Dynasty. I will give him that. We have some very smart guys who are picking up in our Dynasty. They're like, I'm not training with fucking Faubert. Faubert will pay double to me. Whatever I agree to with Faubert, then we have to go double
add
that.
A little bit. Yeah.
So, now the players that you obviously don't want to touch on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this is just a given, but obviously want to give the names out. You don't touch Blaine Gabbert. Don't touch Kyle Trask. Just leave him alone. Getting into the other running backs, the three that we said, I still wouldn't necessarily touch them, but if you want to keep them on your bench in case something happens, go there. Wide receiver core, you still start Evans in your wide receiver 1 right now. Hold caution to the wind for the next 2 weeks, though, because if he is only getting you 5 points there, you're going to have to drop him out and wait and see here. Chris Godwin's still number 1. Keep him in there. Antonio Brown, if you have no other wide receivers, you put him at the number 1. If not, keep him at your flex, and you can basically kiss one of your flex's positions already taken care of for the full year, right? And if you find a positional matchup that you are in favor of and you don't like where Antonio Brown is going to be that week, at least you can move him and you know that it's going to be a little bit easier. Tight ends, it's just Gronk. It's always going to be Gronk. Brait will hold no value for you, and OJ Howard will hold no value for you. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, if you can find a way to get them, is still going to hold you some value. So there's an update on your Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster as a whole for fantasy right now. If you can get Brady, go get Brady, man. Brady almost won me a week. And the only reason I'm using him this year in Dynasty is because I traded Kyler Murray for some running backs who actually did pretty good for me this week. And now some people are like, hi, Andrew, I see you have a stable of running backs. It's like, oh, now all of a sudden you want to talk with me. Hey, you little buggers. I love being a GM sometimes in Dynasty. So
makes it a lot of fun.
Now all of a sudden, we're going to get to this man. Yeah, I know. At first I was like, no, that way. Nope, that way. There we go. Let's get to the Detroit Lions here quick. We like to talk our 2 teams first, and then we're going to give you some values and some updates across the league. So let's get into the Lions there. Alex, let's start with Goff. What are you thinking with Goff here?
To me, I put him as one of those bench guys we'll get into later to potentially get. To me, I think this game was a bit of an outlier because if you actually watched the game, the first 45 minutes, the ball placement was all over the place. It wasn't very good to watch.
No.
And then obviously, as the score shows, they picked it up in the fourth quarter. He ended up going 38 of 57, which that itself is not great. But he did get 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He was a top 5 quarterback in fantasy this week. That is not going to continue. So I think he could be a serviceable QB2. Like if your quarterback's on a bye week, he might not be bad to go get.
Or if you're streaming quarterbacks essentially as well.
Absolutely, yeah. The main Lions players, though, you're going to want to look at. I'll start off with TJ Hopkinson, obviously. Yeah. Top 5 or 6 tight end, fantasy football wise. Had a good game. 8 of 10 receptions 8 receptions on 10 targets, 97 yards, a touchdown, and caught a 2-point conversion. He will be their go-to target for any sort of receptions. He was the second most targeted player behind DeAndre Swift. We will get to him in a second.
so glad I drafted him ahead of you in almost every damn league and mock draft. I'm so happy.
Yeah, like he's gonna play well. This is one of those tight ends. If you're looking for a tight end early in the draft, obviously I would go Kittle, Kelsey, Waller in any order there, those three. But in my opinion, Hopkinson slides right into that fourth spot. I might be a homer saying that, but
I've said that all season too. I said Hopkinson is going to make that elite. Like they're going to move from 2 to 3 elite tight ends to 4 or 5 by the end of the year, and Hopkinson is going to be like badged in week 1, and look what happens. So,
and Hopkinson is going to be pushing Kittle and Kelsey and those guys numbers wise this season, strictly because the Lions have nobody to throw to. He is going to be pushing that 1,000 yards. 10 to 12 touchdown mark, more than likely. The running backs I was very happy with. They've got that two-headed monster. Jamal Williams did start the game. I don't expect this to go too much longer. I think DeAndre Swift will be your starter. But Swift battled a groin injury all throughout camp, so they're kind of worried about his conditioning a little bit. Still ended up getting more plays than Williams, but Williams was their go-to guy.
Yeah.
Williams had 9 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown. Also caught 8 of his 9 targets for 56 yards. A lot of really key plays were run through Jamal Williams. He had a 4th and 1 that he unfortunately just tripped on. Didn't get to the line of scrimmage, but ran hard, ran fast. Really good at catching the ball. I love him as that running back too, and if you can get this running back stable, you're set. Yeah. That's one key running back for the entire season. DeAndre Swift had 11 carries for 39 yards, so not as good running the ball. But where he made his money this week was he caught 8 of his team-high 11 targets for 65 yards and a touchdown, had a beautiful screen pass that went the distance. I said this earlier in the season, and I'm going to kind of stick to it. I see these two being that a lesser version, yes, of Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram back in the Saints heyday there. I like Williams to be that power back. They can still kind of do it all, and Swift's going to be your change of pace guy. I think you could get big numbers out of either of these guys. I mean, Williams put up 22, 23 points in a lot of leagues.
Yep.
And Swift was right up there with 24 in a lot of leagues as well. So really good numbers out of the running backs. The main reason for this is because wide receiver, don't touch it. There's nobody there. Terrell Williams, I thought maybe would be their guy. He was playing well. He got a concussion. He's out. Probably for the foreseeable future. He's very injury prone. So, I mean, if you dare to touch one of these receiver targets, it's probably going to be Quintez Cephas, second-year receiver. Strictly at the wideout position, he was their best guy. Had caught 3 of his 7 targets for 12 yards and a touchdown. That right there shows you what the Lions have at receiver, which is nothing. So it's got to be. If you're going the Lions, it's Goff, Hopkinson, Williams, or Swift. That's all there is. The defense, do not touch. It is terrible. It's a lot of young guys all the way across, and we just lost Okudah for the season for a ruptured Achilles. So, yeah, not looking great on that side of the ball. But, yeah, if you're getting any Lions, it's just those 4.
Nice. Fair enough. Yeah, so there was an update on the Lions. It's actually funny because I while you were doing the Lions and you said wide receivers, I was like, oh, is he going to talk about one of these guys that I want to talk about in a bit? And you didn't. So
I know who you're getting to, and maybe down the road you could touch him a little bit, like pick him up, but I don't think right now. I don't think there's enough there.
The targets, though, and most of his targets came from early on in the game. That's why I was like, because there's also I'm trying to it's the Jets player Braxton Barrios. Lots of people totally forgot that guy existed, and he got targeted nine different times. And I was like, oh, Okay. So this is another name we're going to bring up in a bit too. But
yeah.
The guy I'm talking about here is Tyler Benson, obviously, for the Lions. He got targeted 6 times. He only caught 3 for 19 yards. But it is that target share where I'm like, oh, he might have some value on my bench, which is the reason why I have him as one of my bench guys, which we will get to in a bit. First, I want to get to some of these comments because I saw a couple of comments in there that I do want to get to.
Yeah.
First, one of our pals, one of our fantasy gurus as well, Adam Padermo Rivera. What is up, fellas? What is up, my friend? Johnny Dean says, hey, Giga Kaida, how you all doing? I think he meant to say Jinja Kaida, and it came out Giga Kaida, which is now possibly. So I think I'm now going to take that as my gamer tag because that is hilarious. Giga Kaida, like
that's awesome.
Yeah. I'm just skipping that. I'm not even. Yes, he is. Okay, whatever. Fine, sure. I'm loving my Battle Ball League and the NFL Edition League. Not too good with the Miscreant League. Hashtag Alex Loosemore.
Yeah, I played Johnny a lot this week.
I played Alex a couple of times too. So, how about Debo? Debo did good. So a lot of
he also screwed them late, but
yeah.
Fantasy-wise, he was awesome.
Fantasy-wise, he was awesome, and even some of the bigger fantasy, say studios or shows, they even said the same thing that we were kind of saying. Hold on him. Maybe put in Brandon Ayuk just to see what's going on. Man, that was a bad idea. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Rojo has been named the starter this week. That is true. I still don't want to. I don't want to touch it, even if it is against the Falcons. If you have to, like, if you're forced into a position where you just kind of need to put a starting running back in, okay, sure, put him in your flex, but I don't want to touch it. Yeah. Teresa Baxter also says, hey, guys. Hello, Teresa. Share a comment, ask questions, and like. Yes, please ask questions. We actually got one coming up here that I love. I can't wait to answer this. OJ will need to have his glass body corrugated. Oh, yeah. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Christopher Cole said, what is up, everyone? What is up, buddy? And here's a good question. I love this. Okay, so Blue Crew, thank you for tuning in. Should I use my number one waiver priority on Eli Mitchell? My current RBs are Barkley, Swift, Chase Edmonds, and Latavius Murray. I don't want to waste this waiver unless truly necessary. 10-team, half-point PPR. Okay, so let's get into that quick. I'm going to keep this up here.
Yeah,
this is a good one because he kind of came out of nowhere. A lot of people were like, where the hell is Trey Sermon? He is sitting right now, which I think is just that lingering toe or something injury that he's got. And I think he's just they're going to hold out maybe for a little bit. And now I think they might even hold out a little bit longer, to be completely honest. Eli Mitchell on, I think, 11 carries had 109 yards out of nowhere. When I actually went
really good,
like very good, to the point where sorry, I got something in my ear right now. Not sure. Oh, that's weird. Do you hear that by any chance, or is that just me?
I don't hear anything.
That was so weird.
What was it?
I don't know. My computer was doing a weird sound, and I was just making sure it wasn't coming through the show. I hope that nobody heard that. I don't know what the heck that was. That was so weird. Anyways, let me try and fix that.
Johnny says that they hear it.
It's not okay. That was weird. I apologize for that, everybody. I was trying to.
Said it stopped now.
Yeah. Okay, it stopped. I don't know what the heck that was. I'm sorry, everybody. But anyway, on this, so judging by the running backs that you have right now, Barkley, Swift, Chase Edmonds, Latavius Murray. Right now, Barkley's supposed to be a number one, and Swift is, I would say, supposed to, but is still kind of on the mended fence, I guess you would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chase Edmonds is a 1B, and Latavius Murray is a flex. Now, that being said, if you have the number one priority this year and your wide receivers are good and your quarterback is good, I would take the chance on it only because your Latavius Murray and your Chase Edmonds are still that weirdness, and even Swift gives you this. So what if something happens to Barkley You can still have Swift as a number one. You can put Chase in as a flex or as your other running back, or even Eli Mitchell as your other running back. And then if you really want to start pissing people off too, you can have all 5 of those guys and put 4 of them in your running back and then flex positions throughout the week. Keep one on your bench, and that just prevents everybody else from getting it.
That's the road I was going.
Yeah. Or you demand for the trade. If you have the ability on your first week to get the biggest name out there that looks to be the sure thing, which right now it does look like he is at least going to be the 1 or 2, because Hasty didn't really get any touches. Wilson, for some odd reason, I believe is still injured. Morstead is now out for the season.
Yeah.
And Sermon is now kind of banged up too. They're bringing in another running back to be on the practice squad. I would add him. I'd get him out of the way and consider your running back core better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's better now. I'm assuming, Alex, you agree with that?
Yeah. And like you said, as long as your receivers are good and your quarterback's good, like you've got everything you need. Yeah, go get this guy. Absolutely. Yeah. Getting like when we do the top 5 pickups, I'm gonna spoil it. He's my number 1. So
yeah. You spoiled it for the end of us. It was both of our number 1s.
Yeah, but I think it was pretty obvious though.
Yeah, it makes sense. It does make sense. Johnny G says, I have no idea how I got Hawk ahead of Alex, but I was happy I did. I did too, man. I love it. I love it. Christopher Cole says, whoever had Winston had a good day. I said I wasn't going to say his name. But yes, anybody who basically was just like, screw you, Andrew. Regier Productions, Regier Productions, I hope I said that right, says, can't wait for week 2. I also agree. Right. I want my week 2 back in my
That was the one good thing about being sick all weekend was it was like 20 hours of football. Like it was glorious.
Yeah, and I saw a couple trades that you made there, and I'm like, oh, look at this guy having all the time in the world.
Yeah, right.
Rolando Fortunel.
Yeah.
Fortunel. My apologies for saying the wrong name. Hey guys, I want to try and get Zeke. What's a good offer for him? Ooh, so Dynasty, throw a 2nd rounder at somebody and just see, because some people are just effing done with them, and they'd be like, just sure, but budget, take them, have them, give me a 2nd. I've also seen I actually just tried to trade for him today, if you can believe it. I tried to get Gallup, who I know is still on the IR, and Zeke. I offered him, and I think I sent the same offer, the exact same players for Travis Kelce, because I know he's got Kelce, and me and him have been talking the Kelce talk here for a little bit here. Okay. So I've offered him James Conner, James Robinson, and Randall Cobb for Travis Kelce, but I also tried to do that for Ezekiel Elliott and Michael Gallup, and he said no. So in some leagues, people are done with him, and they'll just give him to you essentially for scraps. In some leagues, he's still worth value because he's in an elite offense. That would make sense, but you have to still hold true to you. If you're going out for some of these players, knowing what they could possibly be, and you know that the guy's not going to give them away for nothing, always try to give them something that's at least intriguing. They give you a counter offer, and you try to find the middle ground, right?
Yeah.
But like, for example, like we've seen in our leagues, right? Like I've made some trades where people are like, what in the hell? Like, is Andrew fleecing people? It's like, no, I've literally just been doing my due diligence to make sure, like, I'll send a trade off in like April, and that trade won't get finished until all the way in August, because I've been doing it with the guy over and over. That's the advantage about Dynasty. And so people, I was going to throw this in here too, is a lot of people say, why do you do Dynasties? Do you really want to be playing like fantasy football all the time? It's like, you're not necessarily playing
my headset died. I will be right back.
Yeah. It's not necessarily that all the time. You know, you're not doing fantasy football all the time. What you're doing is you have your team, you see some news go on, and all of a sudden you're sitting there like, oh, they drafted Travis Etienne, for example, on the Jaguars. James Robinson's value just all of a sudden would plummet for next year's redraft. Oh crap, I have him on my team now too. 2 days ago, I could have gotten 2 first-rounders and even a starting player for him. Now, all of a sudden, I can't even get a third-round pick and a starter. You good?
Yep.
Yeah. So I was just saying, with Dynasty, every day technically matters, right? So if you're hardcore about it like me and Alex, you'll see us dropping players and adding players every single day. You'll see some players being traded and, trade bait. So Andrew has put this person on the trade waiver and this, that, and everything else. It's a fun time, but it also allows us to answer questions like this. What is a good offer for Zeke? I would listen, if you got a flex wide receiver that you don't need in a redraft, try that. Just see where they're at. If it's Dynasty, they may still hold true to value for the owner. So you might have to take like a flex wide receiver, maybe another flex wide receiver or a running back like a James Conner, one of those guys where you're Phillip Lindsay, you're kind of sold on, but you're not sold on. And then you might have to go give him one of your taxi squad running backs. So like a Roundtree or a Patterson from Washington or Khalil Herbert from Chicago. Just any of those kind of guys if it's Dynasty. But if it's redraft, try a flex position first. If that doesn't work, it might just depend on the person that you're trying to go against. So and if they don't, if they send you a counter offer from just trying to send a one-on-one trade, that means they're interested. Interested, and people know that about me now. So they're like, listen, I just have to reject this, wait 2 days, and then I'll send my own modified one so Andrew doesn't think that I'm interested. I you know what I mean? Which I've already caught on to that, guys. It's not working. Just accept it, and we'll move on. Bars in the tuck. Hey, what is up? Says, what's up, fellas? My waivers are use it or lose it. So without a real need, Zeke, CEH, both cuffs, Damian Harris, Hines, Murray. Do I use my number one priority on Mitchell to play keep away? I like Tim Patrick. So now there's the thing. There is some other players, which we will get to, there's some of these other guys out in waiver wires where you're like, so for example, our league has Fab, which we have a $50 Fab limit. I have a very sneaking suspicion that someone in our league he's actually on someone's practice squad or on their taxi roster. But in other leagues, if you have a Fab, someone's probably going to use all of it in the first week and get them. That's inevitable there. But if it is just say this, where you have the number one waiver priority, you do and you take him away. But looking at your team here, CEH is good. Zeke is good. And he has both cuffs for that. So I'm assuming he's got Pollard as well.
Yeah.
And he's got Damian Harris, who did rush for, I think, 25 carries.
Yeah, he's definitely their guy.
Hines is on my list, and we'll get to him in a little bit here. And Murray is also on my list, too. If you're thin, so bars in the tuck, if you're thin at the wide receiver spot, I would take Tim Patrick. Yeah. Only because Jerry Jeudy is now gone for a few weeks, and Cortland Sutton wasn't necessarily standing up, and it looks like Bridgewater has found his 2 other wide receivers that he enjoys. So if you need a wide receiver, I would take Tim Patrick. What about you there, boss?
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. You've got a lot of really good running backs there. It all depends on how your wide receivers look. Because I'm quite high on Tim Patrick for these waiver wire pickups. So personally, if you could use the wide receiver more, go for Tim Patrick.
Yeah. If you need a wide receiver, I would go there, boys. Johnny D's is okay. Yeah. Regular production says, should I trade Austin Eckler and Randall Cobb for Antonio Brown, Kenny Golladay, and Tyson Williams? I have Hines and Devontae Adams, McLaurin, Corey Davis flex. 10-man PPR quarterback is Rodgers. I'm assuming this is redraft. If this was Dynasty, no.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, well, even I would keep Austin Eckler for a little bit, just because. Only because if it was Dynasty, you only got maybe 1 or 2 years of those 3 players, and then they're gone. So, But in a redraft here, fudge me, that is intriguing. Tyson Williams
to me, it's pretty clear.
What are you going with?
Hell no.
No?
You've already got Devontae Adams, McLaurin, Corey Davis.
Yeah.
Why do you need Antonio Brown, Kenny Golladay? To me, keep Austin Eckler. That's going to be one of the better running backs in fantasy football this year.
Yeah.
Keep that guy locked down.
I understand where you're coming from. Like, if you need another running back, you know what I mean? Like, I would understand why you would want the Tyson Williams is probably intriguing for the year then. And Antonio Brown and Golladay just feels like a backup role and everything like that. So the names that you're being offered is intriguing, but yeah, no, Austin Eckler is still a number one running back. And like, if you just came around and told me that you had Aaron Jones and Alvin Kamara, and that's the reason why you're trying to toss Austin Eckler, I still would probably say no, just because Austin Eckler can be your other flex position. But no, say no. And I'm going to assume that somebody is, hold on one second.
Oh my God, you bastard.
Is that mine?
Yeah.
It did. Yeah. Yes. I did it.
All right.
Hey, Alex. Hey, Alex. You remember those? You know, I only had 2 spots that I was slacking on. Not no more.
We'll see.
I'm going for this. So, ladies and
There's
gentlemen,
still injuries. It's a long season.
Oh yeah. That's the reason I'm making this trade, though.
Yeah.
So in our league, the North Sports Dynasty League, I just traded Diomi Brown, the Washington wide receiver, Trey Sermon, the running back from San Fran, Michael Carter, the running back for the Jets, and a 2024 first-round pick, so a couple years away. I have received now DJ Chark and Jalen Waddle. Oh, that feels good.
To me, it's more Waddle than Chark. Chark doesn't really worry me that much, but
well, see, the reason why I'm high up on Chark right now is 12 flipping targets. I know he only got 3 receptions for the 86 yards and a TD, and that still got him 17.6 points. The fact that he was targeted 12 times by a rookie and he's re-signed to play with that guy for a few years, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go for him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, that felt good. Oh, that's good. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I just had to. As soon as Alex goes, you son of a bitch, I was like, oh, is that mine that went through? Woo!
All I saw was the F it, just gonna send it, and I was like, I clicked the tab to bring it down, and it said a trade. I was like, good Lord.
I've been trying that one for a while too. Welcome home, Waddle. Woo-hoo. There we go. Okay. So yes, we've talked about this one. I'd still keep Eckler. I understand that Eckler might get beat up, and if he does go down. Sorry. Here we go. Okay, so bench Mike Davis, Sony Michel, Callaway, McKissick, and Tony Pollard.
There's no way in hell I get rid of Eckler.
No. I would still keep it then. I'm still keeping Eckler. Good team though. Very good team.
Yeah, very good team.
Jeff Rathwell, thank you for tuning in. Zeke doesn't play a team from last year with a winning record again until week 11. Yes, I'm trying to convince myself to chill.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate you bringing in the stats, though. That's a good one. Just like I think I threw it out. I think I threw that paper out today. But there was a nice betting stat that I heard on Hammer Down for the Pat McAfee boys there. Teams that made in the last, I think it's the last 5 years, teams that have made the playoffs the previous year and lost week one, are 10-5 against the spread. So when they're basically an underdog, essentially going into week 2, they'll win 10 out of the 5 times. So I went looking, and the only 2 teams that were technically underdogs are the Colts and the Titans. And I was like, oh, those are actually some very intriguing matchups. I'm taking that for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, sorry. And I've also got another guy interested in something else. Someone just messaged me about another intriguing trade. It's like I'm already doing one big one today, so I'm gonna have to wait till tomorrow. Bucks Report says, "Hey guys, I'm gonna get the boss man because I totally forgot boss man wanted to pop in here. Let me send this link down if anybody else wants to pop in and say hi to Alex, Mr. Loosemore. He's a friend of ours, and he wasn't here for a bit. So stream is the link is in the chat. Let me go send this to the other person here as well. Stephen Glasses says, yes, was hoping you guys would be on. Hells yeah, Stephen. And Alex, hope you're feeling better. Missed you, buddy. Hells yeah.
Yes,
I'm happy
much
that
better.
I got my co-host as well.
It felt really weird not doing the shows.
Yeah, it felt weird not having you either. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if my fiance texted you and stuff like that, but when you told me you had COVID, I was like, yo, or might have COVID. I was like, yo, he's already had.
Oh, is it me that cut out or is it? Oh my God. Okay. Well, if it's me, I'm just going to keep this rolling till he gets back. Johnny Dean, hi Johnny. Okay, David, thank you. He did cut out. Oh, are you back?
There we go. Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, it was like.
Oh, and here we go again. Steven Glasker, great frozen face. Yeah. And now we can't hear you. Oh.
No, it's weird. It's on my end. Give me a second here.
All right. Yeah. If Andrew's watching right now, people love your frozen face. I was just like, do I just hop into my top five? Is it kind of what?
Am I good?
I think that your camera is really blurry, but otherwise,
I think it's just because I canceled out there for a second. That is so weird.
Yeah, normally it's me that does it.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's get into our top fives here. Okay, let's do top five drops first.
Okay.
Top five. If these guys are on your team right now, get them off. They're going to hold no value to you, in my honest opinion, going forward. In no particular order. Number one, David Johnson from Houston. I know that he had a great game, and I know he got a touchdown. Way too many running backs, way too many mouths to feed. Just get him off your team. It's Phillip Lindsay or Mark Ingram later on. Don't fall into it, okay?
Yeah.
James Washington from Pittsburgh. Also, he had one target, guys. Don't even consider it.
He's still looking for a trade. He doesn't want to be there anymore.
Exactly. Kansas City's DeMar Robinson. Again, they've kind of already set their wide receiving crew of who they want to use. I would just leave it be. Dallas's Blake Jarwin. I think they're going to be going and using the other tight end. And
Schultz, yeah.
As much as I would love everybody to get an opportunity to get some points off of the tight ends, it's just the wrong one. He's going to have one great game, and the rest of the games after that are going to be nothing. So, and then the other tight end was New York Giants' Kyle Rudolph. Just don't.
Yeah, he's done.
What do you got?
All right, so I saw a lot of people pick this guy up over the weekend. Saw that he signed to a practice roster. You can let him go now. It's Le'Veon Bell. I don't think I'm thinking they're happy with the running backs they got there, and Murray and Tyson Williams. I think they're okay with what they have. Justin Jackson, kind of the same thing. He was the number 2 back in LA for the Chargers last year. He's now slid down to the 3rd back. Larry Roundtree, the rookie, has taken over that second role. I think it's safe to say you can let him go. Funny enough, you had David Johnson. I couldn't pick, so I just said one of the Houston running backs.
That makes sense.
Yeah, like you said, it's a 3-ring circus there. Too many mouths to feed. Somebody needs to go.
Yep.
And then Tevin Coleman, the running back from the Jets. On the
no, sorry. I just
okay.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay. Jacob Charnow of the Hard Count Football Podcast goes on at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, if I'm correct.
Yep.
On Tuesday, so he was on earlier today. Did not have very many nice things to say about Tevin Coleman. To put it bluntly, said he's garbage and he needs to go. I agree. Get him off the roster. And then, oddly enough, I also had James Washington. But I will say, hey, Lions, you're looking for a receiver. Go get this guy, because I think he could be something as a guy that's getting a lot of targets on a team. He's just not getting used there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, I agree. So those are some players that you can drop. Some players that may have like some value, but you do not start grabbing them right now. It's way too early, and they don't hold any value at all right now. Okay, so let's get into the bench, guys. I'm going to name off my 5 guys that I got in bench in no particular order, and then we'll get into our top 5 pick-em-ups in order here. One of my bench guys, Latavius Murray for Baltimore. He is going to see some carries. Get him on your bench and just see what he's going to do for you later on. Dustin Schultz, David Schultz, Dalton Schultz. There we go. From Dallas. That's the tight end I want to keep on the bench as of right now. He holds value for an elite offense, especially when he can go up against the Bucs secondary like he did, even though it got depleted, and put up some points. LA Chargers running back Larry Roundtree, a guy I was very happy to just steal in so many of these dynasty drafts. He is getting some carries over Justin Jackson, like out of nowhere. A lot of people picked up Justin Jackson thinking that he was going to be Austin Eckler's backup. I think, again, Larry Roundtree has taken that role. So if something does happen to Austin Eckler, see the Roundtree on your bench. Speaking of bench, Tyler Benson is the Detroit wide receiver I was talking about there earlier. I would have him on my bench just because of the target share right now in Detroit. No offense to my brother beside me. He is a great...
Matt, that's why I said don't touch any of the receivers.
I know.
That's fair to put Benson there.
There isn't that many guys on the Lions itself. He brought up one, and the other one I bring up is Tyler Benson. And then the last one here, because you're going to get him for free. You're going to get him for free.
Again.
You're going to get him for free is good old Tyler Heineke. The quarterback for the Washington football team is going to be the guy that you are going to want to grab and put him on your bench and just see if he actually becomes the elite quarterback with that elite talent that he's got around him there in Washington. I think that he's going to hold some value to you on your bench in Tyler Heineke. You all good?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. What are your 5 bench players?
So, as I said earlier, I have Goff on there. I think there are going to be certain games that he could put up big numbers for you. This week definitely isn't going to be it when they play the Packers.
Nope.
Or the Ravens the week after. Like, there's a few weeks where stay as far away from them as you can. But I think, like we said earlier, if you're streaming quarterbacks, that's not a bad route to go. These guys weren't. Well, I had Heineke on my bench list as well, but I'll also throw Winston in there if you're streaming quarterbacks.
Yep.
Same thing. He'll get you good matchups from time to time.
Yeah.
I had Christian Kirk, the Cardinals wide receiver.
Ooh, there's a good one. Yeah. A lot of people haven't had him on his roster, so.
Yeah. If you look at Sleeper, he's one of the top pickups, I believe, that they want you to get.
Yeah.
Or like the trending pickups. And then
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
I threw Jamal Williams on there.
Okay.
Like I said before, easy 20 points this past week. Playing his Packers this week, his old team could go off this week. And then I threw in. I kind of wasn't sure this last one, so I just kind of threw in that guy that could be bench, could be that flex spot, and I did go Antonio Brown.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like that. All right. These are your 5 steals of the week. These are guys more than likely going to be in the free agency, waiver wire, priority type thing. These are the guys' names, in my opinion, that you should go after. We're going to go in order and talk about them. So I'll give number 5, and then Alex will give number 5 type thing. These are the top 5 guys you're going to want to grab on your roster. Number 5 for me, Minnesota's wide receiver, KJ Osborne. You guys thought Adam Thielen and freaking Jefferson were good? This guy has been around here for a year, and he got to see targets. And Minnesota is going to be trying to get their defense going, and it's not going to work for a while. So they're going to have to rely on Kirk Cousins throwing the ball a lot. And if a defense is good, they'll cover the 2 top wide receivers. They don't have a tight end right now. And Dalvin Cook is going to be easy to cover by all the linebackers and all the defensive linemen if they can get it. So obviously you got to go to the 3rd target, which right now in Minnesota is KJ Osborne. Get this man on your team if you can. That's my number 5. Alex, what do you got at number 5?
My number 5 is actually Taylor Heineke with Fitzpatrick going out for, what is it, like 6 to 8 weeks, something like that, I think.
Yep.
Quite a while. All the weapons there, that running game, his rushing ability, to me, it's a no-brainer. If he's on the waivers in your league, go get him.
Yeah, I agree. Number 4, New England's wide receiver, Jacoby Myers. Another guy that was seeing a lot of targets. Another name that was kind of going under the radar a little bit. People were thinking Nelson Aguilar, which is another one that I do have on my list of players. But if we're doing a top 5, he's sitting at number 6. Okay. Nelson Aguilar is a good one, but Jacoby Myers is younger. Mac Jones is going to be looking for a wide receiver that he can keep around for a little bit. And that seems to be the guy he's going to go with. So the target share was there a lot for Jacoby Myers, and I liked what I saw from him. What do you got for number 4?
That's actually a really good one. I stuck at wide receiver, and another guy that was on my bench list, I'm going for Christian Kirk. He's available in a lot of leagues. He's listed as the backup to Hopkins with Green and Rondale Moore being in front of him. After that performance, I don't think that's going to stick. I think he'll be in that starting lineup. Kyler Murray seems to like throwing the ball. So I think that's another really good guy to go get.
I agree. All right, top 3. Number 3 for me, Jacob Charnell is probably going to like this. Number 3, New York Jets wide receiver. It's not what you're thinking. It's not even the top 3 of what you're thinking. Braxton Barrios. This guy last year, me and Alex were talking about the show, under the radar.
Yep.
Under the radar. This guy was a target master last year and actually saw some really, really good games and some really, really good looks. But he just didn't get the consistency because of obviously a bad team. Now this team is going to be able to develop better, and he may end up turning into an Adam Humphries with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a couple of years ago. Show off really good on a bad to mediocre team, and then maybe get an extended contract somewhere else where he can actually show off his true skill set. So I got Braxton Barrios at number 3. This is a guy that I am definitely high up on and going to be looking for. Well, excuse me, in a lot of leagues. What do you got for number 3?
For me, my number 3 is KJ Osborne.
Yeah.
For everything that you said, they're with that defense, I think they're going to be behind a little bit. So they're going to be throwing the ball, and they're going to be worried about Jefferson and Thielen and Cook, and that's just going to leave Osborne open for one-on-one targets.
I want every single person in the comment section and who is watching this to know, me and Alex do not talk about our ratings before the show. We do our show and we talk our ratings about afterwards. You want to know why we work together very well? Because our ratings and some of the players that we're bringing up are very close to each other. And we do not talk about this. The things that we talk about for our show do not involve this right here. It involves other aspects of these players and certain other things like analytics and stuff. Not this. We specifically do this for the show.
The pre-show conversation was, you got your rankings? Yep. Okay, good. Like,
how are you feeling?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't talk about it. We don't discuss it. We're finding out just as you're finding out.
Yep. That's why for me finding out that KJ Osborne is in both of our top 5s for pick 'em ups right now is absolutely amazing. This is the reason you tune into North Sports Dynasty, ladies and gentlemen. Number 2. Everybody knows our number 1s, and we'll get to that in a second. But number 2, this is a big one, guys. This is a big one. And this is another one of those guys that's going under the radar to a lot of people in a lot of leagues. Chester Rogers of the Tennessee Titans, wide receiver.
Oh.
So what the hell happened to Tennessee? Exactly what I've been trying to tell people all off season. They've lost some corners. Yeah, they got some rookie corners, and the rookie corners they got in are going to be exceptional corners.
Just not anytime soon.
Exactly. It's the same thing with the Buccaneer corners. Takes time to develop, guys. We got to get them there. Okay? Yep. It's what is going to happen here in Tennessee. Julio Jones had a bad game. A.J. Brown had a good game. Derrick Henry had a pretty damn good game as well. Mm-hmm. But they know that they drafted Julio Jones for a reason. And they know that they are going up against some competition in their division for a reason. That means Julio Jones and A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry, if they all get covered, which happened, and you got to play from behind, Chester's going to see some target share. And he did. And he was really damn good. Really damn good. He looked like Jarvis Landry out there, for crying out loud. So,
that's actually not a bad comp.
Right? Like, it just all around, and like a couple of times you just exploded for the running, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put you on my list. I put him on my list, and then I kind of watched some of the highlights, and I'm like, okay, he's going up. It keeps going up. Like, wow, holy crap, I think I'm gonna need this guy.
Yeah.
What do you got? Nope, wrong way. That way. What do you got for number 2?
So, same position, different guy, another wide receiver. We talked about him earlier in the show. I'm going with Tim Patrick from Denver.
Yeah, buddy. To
me, especially with Judy out, he's going to be your wide receiver 2 there. And like we said, Bridgewater's kind of found his guys that he likes, and Patrick seems to be one of them. So, to me, it's a no-brainer. If you can get him, go snag him.
Yeah, I agree. And then number 1, both of us got Eli Mitchell right now. It is a no-brainer. Only because of what he brings. We're pretty sure that Trey Sermon is not going to see some work until like week 3 or 4 because of all the injuries that just happened in San Francisco and the possibilities of him later on, say with Trey Lance, even past the season in Dynasty, is some things that you just cannot unfathom. Like this is a good value.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody is really going to get him in our league. I don't even know who has the number 1 waiver priority in our fantasy league here.
I think he was already picked up.
The redraft one?
Oh, the redraft. I don't know. Yeah.
No, because our dynasty league was Mr. Flippin' Hot Dog and Pop, and the draft was like, which running back is left in the 3rd or 4th round? I'll just take this one. Like, F you.
Yeah.
I hate him only because he's I don't hate him, but he's a Ravens fan that actually just went and traded one of his favorite Raven players, which I just looked at and was like, I mean, don't get me wrong. If I got offered that package too, I'd probably take it. But like,
yeah, I was just like, whoa.
Yeah. All of us were really
let go of one of his Ravens guys. Like,
yep. So let's go to players and let's go to search. We'll go Mitchell. Let's see if he's available. Yep, he's available. So now the question is who has the number 1 waiver wire, right? So that's basically what's probably going to happen in our fantasy league anyway. So
more than likely, yeah.
Now, this is the end of the show, but we are going to get a friend of the show, Mr. Johnny Dean, to come pop in and talk a little bit of fantasy here at the end of it. How we doing there, buddy?
How's it going, bud?
Good. Have you talked to Alex? Have you seen Alex yet?
I was like, we've talked over Messenger and stuff, but
yeah, we talked quite a bit Sunday night,
he's
man.
Back. Back. Look at him.
And last night, talked a lot last night during that game.
We talked during the Ravens game last night, yeah.
A couple of comments here. Andrew's face. Blame Fort Sask dialogue. Which is funny because I literally pulled up Facebook on my desktop to go send the link to a couple of places, and all of a sudden my computer was just like, can't do that. I'm like, whoa, okay.
When we started doing the show, that was literally any time I would click like another tab to go do anything, it was just done. Like I had to share everything before.
I didn't hear either one of you guys dropping Eric Ebron out of your leagues.
Eric Ebron?
Okay, yeah, to drop, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, I don't think many people have him to begin with.
Yeah,
so.
I got stuck with him in the auto draft and stuff, and I had a hard time getting him the first time around. I finally did get rid of him, but jeez.
Le'Veon Bell is the Eric Bledsoe of football. I knew this was coming. Heineke will definitely be better than Fitztragic, which is fine, but you don't ever speak of a player's injury on my show, though.
Stephen Glasgow was asking that about fantasy leagues. If anybody he could get into a fantasy league right now.
Good luck. If the thing is, Steven, if you want to get into a dynasty one, we do have a new dynasty one that we are going to start up at the end of this season. I think we have 6 or 7 people basically confirmed and interested in. Some people that like on Twitter that I've just communicated with a bunch of times that literally reached out and was like, always wanted to be part of one. Pretty cool that you got a show. Can I join whenever you make a next dynasty? And I'm like, hell's yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hell's yeah. So, we got about 6 or 7. We're looking to make it a 12-person league. So we got 5 more open spots if anybody is looking to be in a dynasty league.
I tried to get him in the league all preseason,
Yeah, and then of course
now he wants in a league.
Yep, of course. Jeff Rathwell says KJ Osborne is better than the ghost of Laquan Treadwell. Man, I was so high on Laquan Treadwell back in the day too. Like I drafted him so high. I was like, such a that's your mom. Says crazy likes crazy. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We both like crazy. Yeah, we're crazy people. Tracy Chandler says, hi, guys. Go Bucks. That's right, Tracy. Thank you for tuning in. Michael Chaps, that's a Rangers pick. Oh, that's the good logo of the Rangers, too. I like that.
Yeah.
Says, I have Herbert, Cook, Diggs, Keenan, Allen, Pitts, Gaskin, Gordon with an Aguilar and Sutton on the bench for flex. Would you with Arizona? D. Would you guys change anything? Let me see here. Cook, Diggs, Keenan, Allen, Pitts, Gaskins, Gordon with Aguilar and Sutton on the bench. If anything, I would take Melvin Gordon right now and Sutton and try to get just another solid running back. Like one that is starting to fall out of grace with people like Ezekiel Elliott or something like that. So you can have a Cooks and Ezekiel Elliott, and then the rest of your starting team would be great. And then the rest of your bench, having like an Aguilar and maybe Gaskins or something like that.
Slide Gaskin to the bench, yeah. Yeah,
you can fill the rest of that with waiver wire pickups and have one hell of a season. Like you could probably get Marcus Callaway. You would probably end up getting I'm trying to think of some other names like Tim Patrick. KJ Hamler might actually still be out there. Jalen Reagor might actually still be out there. I've even seen Devontae Smith still out on waiver wires in some leagues for crying out loud.
That's ridiculous.
The Lions, what's his name? Mitchell or whatever his name is. He's still out on the waiver wires.
Which?
Mitch?
I can't remember his name.
Oh, there's.
I was just looking through the waiver wires earlier, and he was right there at the top. I was like, oh.
Okay. You mean the San Fran running back there?
No, the Lions guy. Let me see who he is.
Yeah, Johnny will double check here.
Yeah.
Other than that, Michael, like maybe make a trade for just another top tier running back, like if you can, with just some of the other players that you have, and see like what you could do. Other than that, like you are looking good. Just pick up some good waiver players. Maybe make one trade, like I said, just for another top tier running back if you can, like a Zeke that some people might not be sold on. Even a Chase Edmonds. Melvin Gordon might be good, but if you can get Melvin Gordon and Sutton in a package for like a Chase Edmonds and something, you might be laughing there, my friend. But that's a pretty damn good team. I'm going to give you that. So, and he also said he's in a 12-man point per PPR league, which is I think everybody's starting to get into the PPR format, which I'm all for. We love the PPR format over here.
Yeah.
We love the PPR.
I love points.
Oh, my guy to get, Cedric Wilson. There's another
Eli Mitchell. Eli Mitchell.
So that is the San Fran running back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so he is our number one guy to grab on the waiver wire right now. If you have a number one waiver,
I looked at our redraft league. It's the Cubaneers.
Oh yeah, then he's gone. Yeah, Michael will grab him instantly. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And then just know my guy to get Cedric Wilson. That is the other wide receiver in Dallas, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's their wide receiver 4. Yeah.
Listen, that's Rager Productions, dude. I'm actually going to agree. Oh no, sorry. There we go. I'm actually going to agree with you respectively, because if something were to happen to the rest of the Dallas Cowboys wide receiver core, this guy, just like Tony Pollard, next year, the Cowboys team next year is going to look a lot different, because I don't honestly think Zeke is going to be a Cowboy next year. I think they've looked at Tony Pollard and been like, listen, that's a lot cheaper and a lot faster talent, honestly. Let's utilize him. And I don't think they'd honestly get rid of Amari Cooper. And I was
just going to go there. I think they might.
They could have, like, the re-signing to that contract where they did suck up a little bit more cash up at the front does make it more intriguing to trade him. And I am aware of that.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, Reger Productions, which Reger or Regier, because I'm a hockey guy and I want to say like Ronald Regier. So please let me know if I'm saying it right. If not, I do apologize. But if this is Dynasty, I would put him on your bench. If you do think of that as highly as I think you probably do, yeah, put him on your bench and just call it a day, wait a year. Because what I've done with my bench, there's 4 bench spots for players that those players for at least 1 or 2 years are not going anywhere. Until I'm done with them or I trade them. That's just how my bench goes. I know we have the IR spots. I know we have the taxi squad spots, but I break down my bench a little bit differently as well. Okay, so it is Regier. Awesome. Sick. Thank you. I break it down a little bit differently. Like 4 spots these guys aren't going nowhere. Like these guys are staying on my team. Don't touch them. They just can't be dropped, right? He would be one of them if I liked him as much as I do. Like a Tutu Atwell or Dan Arnold of last year for me, which when I dropped and then found out what he was going to be this year, I was like, I couldn't wait just one more fucking week. So yeah, I agree with you. Cedric Wilson is a good one, man. I have a claim on him right now. Actually, perfect. Then there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect, buddy. See, you guys are all laughing right now. You don't even need us. You guys are just coming for assurances. Like I'm winning my league, right? Oh, buddy, yeah, you are. Picking up Josh Gordon for the 8th year in a row is healthy. I actually was gonna wait until next week to bring up Josh Gordon and what he could possibly bring. Because if he does sign, and we see like depending on where he does sign, there is value there. Right?
Yeah.
Especially if he's done everything to get reinstated and he's got to go shake Roger Goodell's hand and everything. Like, it is quite possible. So,
yeah. They started pushing for it today. NFLPA did. So,
well, of course they are.
What's the over under on how long he lasts before he gets
I honestly,
hey, aren't they not suspending for pot now? Yep. So I think he's okay.
Yep. Possession is a different story, but listen, if Josh Gordon went to say, for example, he went to Detroit. The only reason he goes to Detroit is because it's an opportunity, right? We'll use our lines.
We have nobody, so.
But all of a sudden, like what we talked about before is like the Buccaneers as Buccaneer fans there. Having Tom Brady.
Well,
I pulled him out because he was stuck for a second. Tom Brady, when he came here, it was like whether we win or not, oh, there we go. Got you back there, buddy. It was like whether we have Tom Brady on our roster.
And here he goes.
What a night. What's with you, Alex? How come you don't get that problem?
What's that?
Why don't you get that problem, dude?
I used to all the time. I don't know why the hell now, but
it could be because I got my PlayStation on too, and it's downloading a game, so that could literally be on me too.
Oh, 6 hours from now, you'll get the game downloaded.
3 hours from now, actually, it's telling me that literally right in my face. So
I love this comment.
Because he's legit disoriented. Oh no. Well, yes, they did. And it is for
Gallup.
It is for a short period of time. And you might get some like value out of him, but I think to get like the extreme value that I would really want out of him, and this is bad to say, but Gallup would have to be out for the full season. So Dak would know where he is all the time instead of just like, all 3 taken, find him when he's just randomly on the field, for example. So,
yeah.
But I do, again, I like his value there. So, yeah. What about you guys?
About what?
Gallup.
Do you guys, you like Gallup?
Gallup, yes, I do like.
I like him, but I don't trust him.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Dallas's wide receiving core is like what a lot of Buccaneers have said about our wide receiving core. I would love nothing more than to have all of the guys on my team, but I would also love nothing more than to have anybody else but those guys on my team.
Yeah.
So how is fantasy overreacting to Falcons?
Perfectly. Exactly the way I wanted it to.
Sleeper has Russell Gage as one of the top guys to get rid of. So
yeah.
I was
overreaction.
Like, hold on.
That's definitely overreaction. I think Russell Gage is going to have some good games coming.
Oh, he's their number 2 receiver. Like, well, I mean, if you count Pitts as the number 3 or the number 2, then Gage is your number 3. But Gallup's on IR. But the way they're doing it this year, you can get off after like 3 weeks. So
yeah, that's why I was like, yes, he is on IR, but yes.
Yeah.
I just had to double check that. So it was like I was just gonna say, well, yeah, but no, yeah, he is, but there's a reason why he can be. So, I had to bench Mike Davis this week for Hines. Listen, Hines almost made my list of like the top 5 bench him guys. Like I think he was sitting at 7 or 8 for me. I love Jonathan Taylor, and I love what Jonathan Taylor is going to bring, but you cannot overstate the fact that Nyheim Hines is going to bring you value in a PPR league. Like, he is the pass catching back. So,
he had a good game this week. So
yeah, he did.
Very good game.
Mike Davis did not. So
you want to talk about people that didn't have a good game this week? Najee freaking screwed me. I started him instead of Swift, thinking that we weren't going to be able to do anything against San Fran.
Yep.
Lo and behold, Swift gets 24 points and Najee gets like 5.
Yep.
Right.
Cost me the freaking game this week.
Some other things like that were Josh Jacobs being put down to the injury list. I think it was on Sunday night. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, come Monday morning, he was okay. Right. And then, of course, right before the game, he was good to go. So some people, it's a good thing that I wasn't going for the win in what I call my rebuild league, which I'm not. It's not my league. It's another guy that runs the Dynasty league. But I had him in the flex position, and I only had 2 other replacements, and I can't remember who the other one was, but I had Darnell Mooney as the only other replacement. And once I saw that, I was like, oh, I'm not taking the chance because I'm going to lose this week anyway. I just want to get the points for possible playoff things later on. Because you don't want to just have zeros on your bench if you can prevent it. It just helps you for playoff placements and stuff like that. So I put Mooney in there. Jacobs had a great game with 17.1, I think it was, or 18.1 points. And Mooney had a respectable one himself too. But those are the things that people are going to deal with all season long. It's the same thing that happened last year with the whole Tyrod Taylor, Justin Herbert situation. So it's just going to happen, guys. You're going to get some injuries that happen or some weird injury report that will come in at a weird time. Always take it with a grain of salt, but always consider it a real injury because you never want to screw yourself from points. Always have a backup plan.
I'll tell you something that happened this week that was I've never seen happen. I had the Chicago Bears because it was just what was left over, right? On my defense. it laid a goose egg. I've never seen a defense. They're not going to get your defense isn't going to give you a whole ton of points in the first place, right?
Nope.
But a goose egg, I've never seen a goose egg, and from the vaunted Chicago Bears defense.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Right.
325 yards from Stafford and 3 touchdowns.
Matt Stafford was blowing them apart, man.
Yeah.
And it was fine. It was funny because I knew when Heineke basically came into the game for Washington because I had the Chargers defense on for my starters. And I was like, why am I losing points right now? What the hell is happening? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for the North Sports Dynasty update of the week show. We'll be back live on Saturday, giving you guys a heads up for that. The Thursday game this week is totally forgot.
Giants and football team.
Giants and football.
Thank you. So for that, guys, be careful with your matchups. The Giants do have a good defense. Obviously, it got a little bit shown off against with the Broncos. Don't take that too much as this is going to happen the whole season. Daniel Jones looked really good. Not very good, but really good. The team as a whole on the offense looks decent. It's not going to be as good as it is, say, Washington's, because I'm assuming Taylor Heineke is going to come in and tear it up because the Giants haven't game planned for Taylor Heineke for a full offseason. They did it for Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's what teams usually do. So they only got about a week to game plan for Taylor Heineke coming in.
Well, a short week, too.
Yep. So give it some time here with the Giants. I'm still going to take most of the Washington positions. I do like Sterling Shepard in this, though, because he's only going to be going up against Kendall Fuller by the looks of it, and that's an easy matchup in my honest opinion. The only other injury, obviously, is Ryan Fitzpatrick that I can think of. Is there any other injury on those two fronts?
Curtis Samuel.
Thank you. Curtis Samuel is injured. Ryan Fitzpatrick is injured for Washington, so you'll want to avoid those guys. On the Giants, start the top 3 wide receivers, start Daniel Jones, leave the tight end position alone until Ingram is fully back, which I think he is now. And even then, don't just leave it for a week. Don't touch Kadarius Toney. Don't touch their defense. Washington side, play Heineke, play Gibson. Don't play McKissick. Play Scary Terry. Don't play Diami Brown for another week, and play the defense if you can. Anything else there, Alex? Anything else, Johnny?
I just saw we had one last question pop in.
Okay. Aguilar. Okay. So Randall Cobb, if you can, because personally I would keep it, but if you have a worse player to drop than Randall Cobb, I would do that. But if Randall Cobb is, let's say, worst player, then yeah, do that. There's only 2 in there that I would drop Randall Cobb forward. Give me Tim Patrick and Nelson Aguilar for sure.
Yeah.
James White and Cordero Patterson are the up-and-comers, but not for the opportunity that still exists with Randall Cobb. What do you think, Johnny?
I agree with you. Randall Cobb, I'm waiting for his breakout game.
He's going to have one.
Yeah, I'm holding him for that.
Yeah, I want him on at least my bench for when that game happens. I don't want a single person getting 30-point plus when Randall Cobb and Aaron Rodgers finally have their flipping game together. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. I will talk to you guys. We will talk to you guys next week. I'm just used to saying me because it's been me for the last 3 shows. Finally got Alex back. Johnny Dean will be on Friday, right? Friday?
Thursday, as far as I know right now.
Sorry, I was like, if you're talking to me, I can't hear you.
All good. So to Johnny, Thursday is the NFL edition show.
9:30-ish, because we're going to try to come on right at the end of the fourth quarter or in the middle of the fourth quarter sometime.
Perfect. And then, we will be back on Saturday. We were going to be doing a little bit later on Saturday. It's probably going to be about 4:30 Mountain Time. So look to be about 6:30 Eastern Time. We'll try to go a little bit earlier if we can. I just obviously have to work. And me and Alex want to make sure that we do the next show together and not just be like mommy and daddy splitting shows every week. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. Much love and appreciation. Remember to follow us for all your fantasy football updates, rankings, any questions that you need, send them my way, send them Alex's way, send them Johnny's way even. But you know me, I'm going to get back to you guys. We will get back to you guys anytime. I know he pops out like that. Yeah. We will get back to you guys anytime. Any questions, anything that you need, drop us a like, drop us a follow, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I don't care, on any platform. You follow me, you ask me about fantasy football, and I will answer it anytime I possibly can. Alex is the same damn way because we just want to help you guys win the moolah. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you on Saturday. Much love. Ciao, ciao for now.